everyone! For this really traditional and old school kind of video, I want to make a quick flip through my notebook for my first semester of history. It's quite bulky, as you can see, and I'm using the ARC system by Staples, and if you want, you can find the setup for this notebook in my channel, which was uploaded around September or October. As you can see, when I open my notebook, on the left side I have my schedule, some handy papers like the map of my campus, and on the right side I have the calendar with all of my assignments, homework, essay, deadlines, tests, final exams, and so on. Then in the first divider of my notebook I have the first one of my classes. And since I only have one notebook for 4 classes, I usually take out notes as soon as I complete my first midterm, so I only carry the notes that interest me for the second midterm. And as you can see, my notes are quite changed, and I want to make a full video about this change because it really improved how I take notes and how I pay attention in class. I'm very excited to make a full-fledged video on this type of note-taking. As you can see, I'm just using blank paper and one pen only. There's no color codes nor highlighting or anything. The second divider for my second class starts with a ton of handouts from my professor. These are texts that we need to read and annotate for quizzes and things like that. Then my first batch of notes is actually prior to my first midterm, and as you can see here, I was still using my classical note-taking method, and then I quickly switched to the new one. As you can see, my handwriting also changed for this kind of note-taking, and that's because I decided to use my fastest possible handwriting to take the most efficient notes and really not be too much worried about how my notes looked or how presentable or Instagrammable they looked. I really just wanted to make them efficient and really summarize so I could pay full attention in class. If you're wondering why I'm just using blank paper instead of grid paper or anything like that, I mean, I was just in a mood for blank paper. As you can see, with that type of handwriting, I can write really straight lines, so I was really not worried about writing crooked handwriting or anything like that. You can see in some of my handouts, I also take some notes according to what the professor is commenting on the topic. And here I have a couple of more handouts, and then in the back of that that second divider, I have a full batch of copies from a textbook that our professor sent to us so we could study for a quiz. So that's pretty much it, and I carry that around in my notebook because I find the information there really useful to study. Then I have my third class, which is classical history, and I start with a kind of a syllabus that our professor gave us with all the classes and topics we need to study for our tests. And after that guide/syllabus, we start with the notes. And as you can see, just like in the last divider, I start with my classical note-taking, which is very beautiful, but it gives me so much trouble. My hand almost hurts after I take notes like that. So here you can see that I start my new type of note-taking. And I was actually liking writing colorful notes, but eventually I just switched to the black pen. And the pen I'm using here is the Staedtler Fineliner, the same thing I'm using with my current bullet journal / planner. And I really enjoy this type of simple note-taking. I think it's very reasonable, all the information is there, it's very summarized, and at the same time it's actually pleasing to look at, although it's not as full-fledged as my classical note-taking type. And in this class I have mostly handouts, and some of these are commented, like you can see here. I wrote a couple of notes on this text, and I have other notes, but this class is very focused on commenting other texts and materials, so there's not too much to write about. And in the back of the notebook I actually have a second copy of an essay that I turned in a couple of weeks ago. Also, some of you always ask me about my formatting preferences. I always use the same type of font size, a margin size, etc. So I will put those in the description box if you want to mimic this style of formatting. I also want to thank Skillshare for partnering with me and help me deliver this video today. So as you know, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes, more than 20,000 of classes, in dozens of categories, including productivity, motivation, and note-taking skills. If you subscribe to premium membership, it gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts working in their fields, so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. Also, Skillshare is more affordable than most learning platforms out there. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Also, the first 500 people to click the link in the description box below will get their first 2 months of unlimited classes for free. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Next week we'll have one of our last videos for 2018, and I'm really excited for the next year because this channel will go through a little bit of a revamp. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos on productivity, organization and note-taking, and I'll see you next week. Bye!